The first thing we need to learn about is the language behind graphing linear equations or linear relations. So when we're looking at this sheet, we're going to fill in all these boxes here, and we're going to use the vocabulary listed here. Okay, so when we go back to just this kind of labeling, we're going to start with the title, and what the whole name of this whole graph is called a coordinate plane. So when I say coordinate plane, this is what I mean. Okay, then the two major axes, the line that goes vertically is called the y-axis. And this one, the one that goes horizontally, is called the x-axis. And you're never allowed to change those. Okay, the big boxes here, we've kind of talked briefly in class about them. I passed by them, but there's actually labels for each square section, and they're called quadrants. So this one's actually called quadrant 1. And this quadrant, both the x is positive, so all the x values are positive, and all the y values are positive. Okay, and then we're going to actually rotate in a counterclockwise fashion, and we're going to go to the left, and this next quadrant is called quadrant 2. And this one you'll see that the y's are still positive, but in this case your x's are negative. So we're going to have our x's, in this case, are negative, and your y's are still positive. And just moving down a little bit, in the bottom left there, we have quadrant 3. And here you actually have both are negative. Our x value will be negative, so when you're plotting points, and your y value will be negative. Okay, and then our last quadrant, bottom right, is quadrant 4. And here our x is positive, and now our y is negative. And you'll see that when you're plotting points. Let's go to the next easy one. This guy here, that's easy. He's called a point. Okay, we actually have a few lines going on here. So we have a line running up and down here. We have a vertical line here. We have a horizontal line here. So we can go ahead and actually write that in. This is a horizontal line. And this is a vertical line. Next, we can actually look at where that vertical line crosses the x-axis, and that's called the x-intercept. So the x-intercept. And then conversely is where these graphs cross the y-axis. So here, that's called your y-intercept. Right in the middle, that's called your origin. That's like where the x meets the y-axis. And then you have here, you have a diagonal line. And you actually have another y-intercept right here. And looking at the last few boxes here, this is also the x-axis, but it's the negative one, whereas over here is the positive. And then you have the y-axis here, and this is the y-axis in the negative world for the y. And here you have the last box here is you have another y-intercept. So that's all your boxes filled in. And we go over here, there's some little bit more terminology over here in the top right. This is called an ordered pair or coordinates. And so the number that's written first is always, always, always the x coordinate. And the last number is always your y coordinate. Okay, so we've used all of our words there, and then you can go ahead and see if you can fill in this bottom here. So you got to fill in the blank using the vocab words, and then you can fill in the questions at the bottom.